Hello, I'm Stephen Boyle from Easons.com and I am delighted to be joined by Carmel Harrington. Her new book, The Things I Should Have Told You, has just been published by HarperCollins. Thank you so much for coming in and speaking to us.
Oh, as I said to you, this is a huge thrill for me because number one, I'm a reader and I love Eason's. It was always kind of one of my favourite places to visit of a weekend and to browse all the books. So to be here in Eason's HQ and then to see my book here, it's quite a thrill. So I'm very much appreciative.
We're delighted to have you. This is your fourth book. Tell us a little bit about it.
The Things I Should Have Told You. Yeah, do you know what? I hope I've written a moving and honest portrait of a contemporary Irish family. So the Guinness family, there's Pops, who's the grandfather, his son Ollie and Ollie's wife May, who've been married for 15 years, and their two children, 13-year-old Evie and 7-year-old Jamie. And life has been kind of hard on them just for the past 12 months, and they're no longer the best version, I suppose, of themselves. And I think for all of us, if we're under stress, don't we all become a little bit, we're not our best versions, I think, when things go wrong. So things have gone wrong, and they're floundering, and I think there's a lot of things not being said, hence the title. And you know that way, and we certainly do it in Ireland, but I think maybe across the world, that when something's wrong, we clam up, and rather than kind of talking about what's wrong, we say, nothing, all's fine. And there's a lot of that going on, and they're not really talking to each other or being honest. So Pops, anyhow, no spoiler here, but Pops, we find out right at the very beginning that Pops is terminally ill.
Right.
And really he wants to do something for his family before he goes. So his idea is, what he decides to do is to uncomplicate things for them. So he buys them a camper van called Nomad, and he sets them this epic 8-week adventure throughout Europe in the camper van.
Wow.
But every country they visit, and they do 10 countries in the 8 weeks, he sets them a task. So the idea being that with the task, it's to inject some fun into their lives, but also hopefully to make them see both themselves and the world with new eyes.
Fantastic. And you know, getting into a camper van and going across Europe sounds great. Have you done much research for it? Have you ever made that kind of trip yourself?
I haven't, but it's on my bucket list. Seriously, you know, I've done a huge amount of travel. Throughout my 20s and early 30s, up until I met my husband and we got married and started a family, I was very lucky to do a huge amount of travel. I worked with Aer Lingus for 10 years, and I was one of those staff members who availed of the staff discounts.
Excellent.
Like, seriously, we just literally, there was a gang of us, and we were single, we'd no commitments. So what we would do is, when we weren't working, we'd just kind of say, okay, we'd look through the timetable and we'd see which flights were kind of half empty.
Yeah.
Because you've only got a seat if there was nobody on it. And we just would travel.
Wow.
So I did a huge amount of travel, both for work, and I travelled a lot with work as well, and went to some very far-flung destinations. Nice. And that's definitely in the book, I think.
Okay, so you've been to a lot of places all over the world. Where is your favourite spot in the whole wide world to sit down and read?
Oh God, that's such a tricky question, isn't it? Do you know, I think that it doesn't matter what part of the world you're in, if you're by a pool, on a nice soft lounger, and you've got some sort of shade so that you can read your book with you know, sunlight glaring on it. I think anywhere is great. But I do have a lot of love for Florida, actually. It's somewhere that my parents have a house there, which it's rented out, but we get to use every now and then. And I've been going backwards and forwards there for about 20 years, and I adore it there. Okay,
so make friends with Carmel if you want a quick holiday to Florida. Other hats that you wear, I know that you're the chairperson of the Wexford Literary Festival, which runs in May every year. So tell us a little bit about what goes on at the Wexford Literary Festival.
Yeah, well, actually, do you know what? We really are a festival both for readers and writers. And so we try to make it accessible for all, and really it's just about celebrating all types of the written word, whether it's books, playwriting, poems, whatever. We're a boutique festival. We are small in size, but we've actually, I'm really proud, every year for the last 3 years we've doubled our attendance.
Wow, okay.
So I think next year we're going to have to get a bigger venue, which is
fantastic news.
But what we do is we very much invite all our speakers. We like them to be accessible all day so that the readers can interact with them, and I think that's what makes it special.
Yeah.
You know, so that they can chat and have their picture taken.
Fantastic. And I know you have writers groups who come down to the festival as well. If you had any kind of tips for an aspiring writer who's thinking, I'm going to sit down and write my novel, what would be your top tip for somebody who's about to kick off their novel?
Okay, so I think just write, and I know that sounds really, really, really silly and maybe obvious, but a lot of us don't do that. And for me, I didn't start writing properly, I mean, put my head down until I was 40.
Wow.
And I'm at it for years talking about writing, but always finding excuses. And I think that I would say to anybody watching this who wants to write, get out of your own way, get over yourself. If you want to write, just write. And tell yourself, if you were to break it down, to write a novel, it's about 90,000 words, a first draft really.
Yeah.
And if you were to break it down over the year, and you said every week if I did about 1,500 words, like that's a book at the end of the year.
Yeah,
you can do it.
So Carmel's top tip is get over yourself.
Get out of your own way.
Seriously,
stop making excuses. Because I can say that because I spent years making excuses for myself.
So if you want to write, just write. Finally, everybody is kind of looking for good recommendations for Book Street. So what have you read recently that you can really recommend?
Oh yeah, I've read some great books. I'm at the minute slap bang in the middle of Claire McIntosh's I See You.
Very good.
Oh, very creepy, brilliant, really, really great. Also Sam Blake's Little Bones, and Hazel Gaynor's I Love the Girl from Savoy, historical fiction.
Beautiful
some
book.
Great books there. Yeah.
Okay, so more books to read after you have read The Things I Should Have Told You, now published by HarperCollins. Carmel, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.